there, Dawn McVeigh here. I hope you're having a great time with Stamp Affairs so far. This next challenge is all about creating your own embellishments, and I've used some paper tray dies, pattern papers, buttons, etc. to create a set of butterfly embellies, and I've also got a few tips for you along the way on how to mix and match pattern papers when creating embellishments. Okay, so let's get started. I have die cut a pile of butterflies and some little circles here. I've used the Signature Series butterfly die, the largest butterfly from the Beautiful Butterflies collection, and two dies, the circle and the butterfly from the Love Lives Here collection. I've just literally taken a random assortment of papers and die cut enough so that I could do at least 5 sets of or 5 individual butterflies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by sorting them out here, and I know that I'm going to start with the largest butterfly in the back. I've got 5 of those, and now I'm going to start piling these layers on. Now I wanted to show you a couple of times lately we've done some Make It Monday videos talking about how to mix pattern papers, and primarily that was for use like as a background pattern on a card, but the same general rules apply when you're putting together little embellishments like this and you've got multiple patterns and you want to know how to mix them to get the most pleasing look. You'll use those same principles that we did in those other couple of videos, but I wanted to show you what I mean here. Now, for instance, I've got this next size of butterfly that I know I want to layer on top of these. Obviously, I don't want to do the same pattern on top of the same pattern because I'm trying to get kind of a little mixed and matched look here. And I also know that I want to try and get all 3, my general color scheme is dark chocolate, raspberry fizz, and some vintage cream. So I want to try and get all 3 of those colors on each of these 5 butterflies that I'm putting together. So that would mean that this next butterfly, this particular chocolate stripe, should go, again, probably not stripe on stripe, probably not brown on brown, which means it should either go on the pink or on the cream. For now, we'll put it there. I just kind of wanted you to see my sort of my train of thought as I'm going through laying these out. I'm trying to not have the same color or the same pattern layered right one on top of the other. So see, I've got those 4 laid out, but now I've got pink stripes on brown stripes, and I don't really want that to happen. So I'm going to shift these around a bit. I'll put the pink stripe on the brown dot, and the pink damask then can go on the brown stripe. So we're good. Now I've got a couple of circles and a few more small butterflies, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I've got chocolate, raspberry fizz, and cream. This one's got cream chocolate, so it needs some raspberry fizz. That one needs something cream. This one is going to end up with, well, that's chocolate dots on dots. I've got 2 chocolates here, so obviously I'm going to need to mix things up a little bit. I'll do the cream there, and then I'll do a dot here. And then the way that I'm going to get some cream on that one so that I have all 3 colors is I'm going to put a cream button. So we still take care of that, getting all 3 colors on. And I've already kind of pre-selected some buttons here just to make things a little bit quicker. But another thing I wanted to show you is not all buttons are created equal when it comes to what's going to work on a card. I don't know how well you can see these 2 buttons. This one is definitely more brown, and this one, can you see, has a slightly orange cast to it. And when I put that on this card, it may not show up in the video, but it definitely looks a little bit more orange than what I would like. So you want to be sure, and even when you're selecting buttons, make sure, because you know if you're using the paper tray buttons, there are lots of different shades of the same color and lots of variety in the texture and the style of the button. Some, like this one, are definitely more sort of shiny and iridescent, and that works really great in some cases. But in this case, it just makes it look more orange, and it kind of doesn't go with the pink very well. So that's just another little tiny tip for you. So I think I've got everything laid out pretty much how I want. So I have decided that for today, I'm just going to use some Scrapbook Adhesives Easy Runner tape here to put a little adhesive just right in the center of each layer, and then I'm going to stack them up with that adhesive in between. And I'm only doing it right in the middle so that when we get to the end and I want to fluff all of these layers forward, all that's stuck together is right in the center and the wings can pop forward a bit. So that's the goal here. With this one, got to be a little tricky around that hole, and I know that there's a heart there and I'm going to cover it up, but that is totally fine with me. If you don't want the button, you could totally leave the heart and just let that be your top layer, but I'm going for lots of layers here, so I'm going with it. So I'm going to put these together. Again, I'm not really worrying about the fact that some adhesive is showing through that tiny heart there because I'm going to cover that up with a button. Now I've already got some dark chocolate twine. This comes on a spool like so, but I've already got it threaded on a big needle here, and I'm just going to thread all of these buttons. And I started doing this a long time ago with particularly buttons that are going to be on butterflies. I just like to leave some tabs of the twine sticking out at the top, and that way they can sort of serve as antenna on the butterfly once I stick them on. Can you see that? So once the button is threaded, I'm just going to use a bit of score tape to adhere the button right to the center of the butterfly. Just like so. I'm going to make sure it's mashed down really good in the center so that button doesn't pop off when I fluff the wings forward. And there's one done. These are pretty quick and easy embellies to make, but super, super cute. Particularly if you do your die cutting all at once. It goes pretty fast when you're running multiples through the machine, through your die cutting machine all at the same time. This one's going to be a little bit different than the last one because it only has 2 holes, so I've decided to just tie a little knot in the front instead of making antennas. I like making each one just a wee bit different than the last if I can, just to give it some uniqueness, a little of its own personality. One thing I'll even do sometimes is change the pattern of the stitching on the buttons. Most of the time when I've stitched the 4-hole buttons, I've made a little X in the center, but in this case I just made the 2 little straight lines. It's just fun little details like that that are super simple to change up, but just give another little bit of added interest to your individual little butterflies. And there we have it. 5 little butterflies ready to be used on a card or a project, and they were super simple to make. I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial. I can't wait to see your take on the challenge. Be sure to head over to Nicole Hetty's blog for all the information on how you can play along too. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day. This has been Dawn McVeigh for Paper Tray Inc.